Today, we're looking at a plugin that does this stuff.
Gotta go. Who's to blame in this game? Light a flame and let it glow. On the page full of rage, we engage the imposter god. Towers fall, righteous crawl and make them cross, and then the squad. The world to change, 'cause its present state is strange, and the world needs to be rearranged. Every time, every day, someone's gotta start a praying day. Raise a fist, coexist, and get pissed at terrorist campaign. Money talks and the law lets him walk through all the doors. I'm waiting for the world to change, 'cause its present state is strange, and the world needs to be rearranged.
And hello, JST is letters, and they contacted me. Joey Sturgis Tones? I really don't know. I don't really have any prior knowledge of the company other than that, there's a lot of this happening and there's plugins and EQs and mixing things and big in the community and all that. So apparently they've been working with a guy called Dino, and he played for a band for years. Also, he played for other bands. But the one band he played for does like industrial metal stuff. And I think it's called Fear Factory. When I say I think it's called, I don't know. So first thing I did is open Apple Music and listen to a full album from 2022. Of course, I've heard of the band, but I haven't really actively heard the band. And my first impression was like, I don't know. And then it was, ooh, cool. So after like song 3 or 4, I was into it. But that's not really the point. Looking at it as you can only do Fear Factory music is kind of stupid. So we're going to look at it as how heavy and stuff can you get with the Disruptor from the Toneforge. I think that's a series maybe from Joey Sturgis. T for tones. I think that's what it stands for. And we're going to do it with this thing, but also a thing that has more strings. I don't have like all the strings that Dino uses because, I'm not crazy. So this is what it looks like. It is 3 amps in one, really. There's the mother, which is clean stuff. Don't expect magic there. It's not a Fender. There's the Replica, which is a replica of Dino's JCM with massive modifications, so not something you could ever buy, except if you buy the plugin. And there's the Protomech, which is called like the lead thing, which makes sense. And apparently that is based on, or not based on, that captures of 5 amps he likes or has or would like to have or something like this. Okay, there's a gate, which is cool. There's a tuner, which gates it beautifully. There's a tuner. I can't turn that on. It works, but I get massive audio dropouts, and I actually can't record while I have the tuner on. Don't quite know why that is. There is the DI match, which we're going to talk about. Well, let's do it right now. So this is clearly made for people reamping, and I'm not a fan of reamping. Frickin' play the shit and don't record a DI and then have someone else send your DI into their amps or their plugin. I mean, if your mix engineer is gonna send it into the plugin anyway, why aren't you using the plugin? I'm not a fan of reamping, but I explained to you what it's supposed to do. I'm not gonna test it because I don't like it. I don't like the concept, okay? So what you can do here is, actually, you can profile your guitar, and then if some mix engineer wants to use a DI signal that someone recorded with a different guitar, they could get closer to the sound of this guitar by using the DI profile that I made. Now, loaded in here are Dino's 7-string. So if I now apply the disruptor on a track that I recorded as DI, which, by the way, I never do. I don't. I could make my guitar and its impedance and all that bullshit sound more like Dino's. Does it make sense? You could also make it active, so it sounds kind of like active pickups. I get it. I don't like the concept. I don't like the idea behind reamping in the first place, but you could match the DI of another guitar. Get it? Makes sense. There's, of course, Dino's 8-string and other things. So, and of course, you can profile your own, if you so choose. Do it, don't do it, but you can capture right here. It's not something, I feel like I want to actually play it and record it at the same time and not. Reamping is not my thing, period. If it is your thing as an engineer, this might make sense. But then again, it kind of negates the quality of the guitar. But we can talk about that for length. The kind of pickups it has. Then why even use anything good if you can do that? I don't know. It's just not. Doesn't make sense to me. Okay, so it starts with a pre-pedal board. Chorus, delay, lo-fi, reverb, overdrive. Those are the 5 effects there are. There's one overdrive, can turn it on and off. There's a chorus. There's a delay, which sounds fine and can be tempo synced. There's a lo-fi, and there's a reverb. Okay, well, overdrive, of course, makes sense in the front, etc., etc. And there is a pedal board, where is it? Here. That is post, where again you can do the same effects. So after the pre-pedal board comes the amp. As I already said, clean, rhythm, and lead. That's how you can see it. You can, of course, do whatever you want. On the clean, there's a built-in compressor, gain, bright, and burn. So you can possibly, when you're going to check that, push this to a little bit crunchy territory. Of course, EQ, blah, blah, blah. Then on the Replica, there are kind of weirdly named knobs. Hunt, which is, from what I can tell, more a low-end thing. Kill, which is kind of a high-mid push to make it more kicking it in the mix. Probably around 2K, 2.5K. It gets bitey there. And Devour seems to be gain. And then, the other knobs that everyone knows. And then on the Protomech, you've got gain, bass, middle, treble, presence, and volume. Can turn it off. Why would you do that? And the different amps. I mean, that could be a diesel, but we don't care and we don't want to know. And I like it. It's aggression, mechanized, and damaged. We don't need to know what the amps are. that were used to maybe being profiled or modeled, as long as they sound good. We're going to check it out. Then you got these speakers, of which there are one out of 5. That's not quite 5. It's a 412, it's a 212, it's another 412. It's your own IRs, which of course you might be using if you have your favorite ones, and a DI signal, which you can then actually have a clean or distorted DI. Why? Maybe you want that kind of really horrible, scratchy, electric-y sound. I know that someone like Marilyn Manson would use stuff like this, maybe paired with an actual cab. Okay, you can have a single cab or a dual cab. There are different microphones right here, 1 out of 4. And then you can change position and distance right here. However, the visuals don't change. There's panning options for stereo, and there's a blend between the two speakers. Relatively straightforward. And you know what? If it sounds good, you don't need more than the, well, technically 3 speakers that they are. If it's good, it's good. And it is good. Just don't try to play blues with it. Post effects. Now EQ. That's a big thing here. And again, I'll be critical because I'm an old fart. I would go to the analog EQ, which is a Neve style EQ. Got a high shelf, got a high pass filter to roll off the low end, which is something you really want to do. There is a low shelf and mids that are tunable. It's a Neve style EQ, and that's probably something I would pick as well for electric guitar. And then there's a digital one. Do we need to turn that on? So you can go in and do anything you want. So they claim that EQ is everything when it comes to guitars, and I see so many different EQ curves. I see people doing this. I've done it for years. You know, guitar doesn't need high end. I think it's complete bullshit. Chris.LG does this. And it works. Try it. So I'm not into surgical EQ on guitars. You know what I like on guitars? Fucking recording them right. If you got a good source, you need nothing. If you look at my recordings, I make sure I've got a good source, and my EQ consists of high-end shelf at 5K, as Chris does, and very little treatment when it comes to EQ. Definitely something on the broader range like this does. Definitely not on a surgical way of doing this. So what they can clear all, clear. Yes. So what they can do is they have a kill resonance thing, which could be good. I don't quite get it. So it does this. Now you might have things where you're palm muting and certain things are just too woofy. Maybe that's what fixes it. But the cool thing is this whole plugin actually has a mode down here, which you can always get to. We're going to go to 6 string. We're going to go to my tuning, because that means there's actually a resonance on that low B, D. In this case, it's in drop D. I'm going to pick D. Did it just change? I don't think it did. Well, if it doesn't change the resonances, then I don't quite know exactly what this is for. It says it highlights things in on the guitar where all of a sudden the low end might drop out, but that fiddling around with it as I play is probably a bad idea, because I just had another audio drop out and had to stop recording. So it worked fine while I was tracking, by the way, the track in the beginning. So you can actually go to a 7 string and say I'm on an A here. Don't quite know what this resonance thing then is for, if you actually have to pick them yourself. Not sure. I personally wouldn't go that surgical anyway. This does change quite a bit in your sound, more or less in the low end. But when it comes to EQ, I would go to this. All the time that I spent with the plugin, I never actually applied a lot of EQ. You can fuck up more with EQ than you can, save. So I'm going to turn it off and not go there. Just know that you could do it. You could also, obviously do it in the mix. But this is where it's at, the raw sounds. If the raw sounds good, then you don't EQ it. Or just a little bit. Going surgical usually makes it not sound like a guitar anymore and probably creates more problems in your mix than you want. Hey, they didn't pay me to, sing hallelujah about this thing. They paid me to review it, which I think they're now noticing, and now they're yelling at each other. Why the fuck did we pay this guy if he's saying you don't need the EQ and who cares about the DI thing? The thing is, I don't care about the DI thing. If you do, you know it's there, and you can actually make your DI signal sound closer to Dino's if you wanted to. I just don't use that. I'm the guy that thinks, pick up the guitar and fucking play it till it's right. Which is also why I wouldn't record loads of DI tracks and then apply the disruptor on those DI tracks. I would put the disruptor, as I have it right now, on my input track. So everything I am recording is actually set in stone. Later on in the mix, I can't fix it. That's how they used to record guitars. And that is how, as a mix engineer, you can't fix things later. But if it's recorded right, why would you need it? This teaches you to record the right source material instead of fixing it in the mix and then, of course, changing things completely. So here we are. Quick note on the gate. It works. Done. It works beautifully. You got input, you got output. Okay, now we're going to go to some playing, and that in the corner. Who put baby in the corner? Someone with a watermelon. I don't know. References that I don't understand. We're going to start with the Martyr, and then we're going to look at some presets. Honestly, I don't like it. Yes, it's a clean channel. Yes, it's probably a clean channel that's good enough for metal with the few times you play clean. But as someone who's got like a good clean amp, let's see how good we can get here. Some bright. Yeah, it's nothing to write home about. It's a little bit of like kind of almost like going DI into a console in a good one. What does this do? It might actually be a solid state clean simulation, but let's see. What if we actually put a chorus behind it and a bit of reverb? Doesn't massively floor me. Okay, it'll do the job for a metal production if you had to. It is not going to be in a letter to your mom. Nothing to write home about. Exactly. So, but let's go back to default here. So this is the default, what is the thing called? Replica. going to show you the preset I did for the song in the beginning. Careful there. It's 2 caps. Let's go to 1 and check it out. I keep getting audio dropouts and Cubase stops recording. Not used to that. I don't know what that is. However, this is a pre-release version. I don't know. Your own IR and DI. So this is very likely what you want. So that's all there. I'm gonna go back to that preset. That was a 57 and a ribbon, as I prefer. And that sound is ridiculous. It's a ridiculous sound. Now, if we look at the amp, this is gain. Maybe it's like a low mid bump hump and then kill. Definition in the upper mid. It's freaking fun. You, of course, have and all that stuff. You can actually switch the power amp between solid state. I'm looking over there at my computers, and tube. Let's see the difference now between the different modes, because right now mode is off. It gets a little bit leaner in the low end. Let's go to E. We also have to see it with a 7-string, see what happens there. So that is that one. And then we got the Protomech. Let's keep it there and go through the 5 different amps. most certainly enough sounds to get whatever you're looking for when it comes to the metal. Now we're going to go into a couple of factory presets here. Joey Sturgis, there will be more later. Chordy rock rhythm. And again, an audio dropout. It could be that it's got a problem with me running the session at 48 instead of 44, because the song I was running was in 44, and it had 0 issues. So I don't know. I'm sure they're gonna comment below and see what that is. Tell you what that is. Super focus mids there. It definitely has some very nice leads. Compressed, clean, here we go. That's on the burn setting with not a lot of gain. I like that. That's better than what I got. Well, they know what they're doing. More strings. BHI from Italy, 7-string. Someone standard B here. So let's see what it does on that. It definitely gets your bass leaner, which is a good idea with all that low end. Otherwise it goes and it blows up way too much. And in the mix, there's nothing you can do. We want the low note without the bass blown up, because that's in the mix where the kick drum and the bass is sitting. So let's get to the point. Disruptor from Joey Sturgis Toneforge something. I don't know, because it's coming out tomorrow, so I actually don't know the price. I think it's around $150, something like this. And it offers quite a bit. It offers 3 amps. Realistically, it was about 2 minutes of playing with it to dial in the tone that you heard in the track in the beginning. I needed stuff for the leads with beautiful delay on it. Bam, it was there. I needed a background line that was more mid-focused to beautifully cut through the mix. Bam, it was there. If you're looking at metal tones, I think it's all there. If you're playing down-tuned instruments, I think that little corner there will make sure that they're not overwhelming your mix. Good idea. If you're into reamping, that DI match is probably a good idea. I don't like the idea of making your guitar sound like someone else's guitar, and at some point, where are you? Where are you with your individuality? You're gone. Your individuality has been sucked dry by that kind of shit up there. But if that's what you want, go right ahead. The tones are there. Apparently, I didn't quite understand it fully, but if you use my link, I think so. If you use my link, I'm not getting anything. I'm just being flat out paid to show you this thing. And, well, they didn't know it, but they're also paying me to bitch about things. That's how it is in this world of independent reviewers. But if you're using the link, you're getting a coupon code for X% off. I can't tell you. It wasn't in the email. I don't know. But if you're using my link, I get nothing extra, which is fine. But you're getting it cheaper. And really, rock tones, it's JCM, bordering on metal, lead tones. I mean, the cleans for metal, fine. But it's all there. Of course, super moldable and malleable with the EQ. Effects are there. Do you really need them? No, you can apply them later in the DAW because this thing is running EQ based right now anyway. I had a lot of audio dropouts and my session was stopping recording, which is why I now have 17 different files to edit. But A, this is a pre-release. B, I was running this in 48 instead of the 44 that I was running yesterday. Yesterday, when I recorded the track, there was 0 issues. So we're going to say this isn't going to be an issue. And if it is, we highly hope that JST is fixing it. It could also be my audio interface. It could be my computer. I run a Mac Pro. Many companies are not considering Xeons as a processor anyone would be running nowadays. IK Multimedia, for example. But they fixed it. So I'm going to say that's not an issue you're going to run into. If you do, please comment and I will yell at them. But at $150, this offers, I'm going to say, metal tones as good as you possibly want them. For normal tunings and low tunings, I don't think we need more than the offerings of cabs that they have there. For me, it would be finding the one sound that I like, saving this, and bam, done. Use the one setting, and that's your setting, which just also makes it your tone and much easier to mix because you know your tone. Okay, don't fiddle around with too many IRs and all that bullshit. I know Alex is going to hate me, Alex from Spectre, because they're releasing something, I don't know, something about IRs. I don't know. I know nothing. Sorry, Alex, love you. One is all you need, if you got the right one. Thanks, Joey and Sue, for commissioning this. Maybe you want more. You've got more stuff to look at. Maybe now you hate me. I don't know. This thing's kick-ass. I mean, it is a fuck ton of fun to play. And you go chuck, 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 chuck. It gets me a little bit wet in the pants area. And that's really what you want, right? Forget about big albums and releases and touring. And don't you just want to get a little bit wet in the pants area because you go chuck, 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 chuck? Yes. This does it. And Dino, if you're watching this, I don't know you. Didn't know your music before this review. Now I do. Cool stuff. Way to go. Cool plugin. Give me a call. Let's do coffee. I don't know. Animals at the end.